You know, from the food you eat to the soap you use, there's this secret chemical battle happening all around us, all the time. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on acids, bases, and salts. This is the hidden chemistry that shapes our daily lives, and honestly, it's in ways you'd probably never expect. Oh, we've all been there, right? That awful burning sensation? Well, that's just your stomach going into overdrive with acid production. And that remedy you grab? Yep, it's almost always a base. Think about that. That simple act of feeling better is a perfect real-world example of the whole point of today's deep dive: neutralization. So, let's start at the very beginning. What are acids and bases, really? Well, long before we had fancy labs, people figured them out using something super simple: their sense of taste. I mean, that sharp, sour pucker or that distinct bitter flavor in food. That was our very first clue about what these things were, chemically speaking. Okay, so here are the classic head-to-head differences. Acids, like in lemons, they taste sour. Bases, like baking soda, are bitter. But here's the cool part for chemists. They have the exact opposite effect on this special dye called litmus. Acids turn it red, bases turn it blue. It's kind of like chemistry's original stop-and-go light system, right? And check this out. Here's an amazing real-world example. Ever notice this? The turmeric in curry, it's actually a natural indicator. So when you scrub a curry stain with soap, which is basic, it suddenly turns this reddish-brown color. But then you rinse it with a bunch of water, and poof, it goes right back to yellow. That is a full-blown chemical reaction happening right there in your laundry basket. How cool is that? So yeah, that color change is everything. I mean, we can't, and please definitely shouldn't, go around taste testing every chemical to see what it is. So instead, we use these clever things called indicators. They're like little spies that send out a secret signal, a color change, to tell us exactly what we're looking at. Okay, let's play a little game. It's a classic chemistry puzzle. Imagine you've got 3 identical-looking test tubes. One's got acid, one's got a base, and one is just plain water. The catch? You only have one single piece of red litmus paper. How in the world do you figure out which is which? Well, the logic is just so cool. First, you dip the paper in all 3. You're looking for the one that turns the paper blue. Boom, you found your base. Now, you take that same piece of paper, which is now blue, remember, and you use it to test the other 2. The one that turns it back to red, that's your acid, and the one left over that did nothing, that's your water. Brilliant, right? All right, so we know how to spot them, but what happens when we start mixing them with other stuff? This, my friends, is where the real action begins. We're talking about some pretty dramatic and incredibly useful reactions. First up, acids plus metals. When you mix an acid with a metal, think of dropping some zinc into dilute sulfuric acid, you get 2 things: a salt and hydrogen gas. You see all that fizzing and bubbling? That's the hydrogen gas making its grand escape. Now, if you thought that was fizzy, this next one is on another level. When an acid meets a metal carbonate, we're talking things like chalk or baking soda, it just unleashes this incredible burst of salt, water, and carbon dioxide gas. That awesome effervescence, that's the exact chemistry that makes a bath bomb so incredibly satisfying to watch. And now for the main event, the neutralization reaction. This is the big one. It's what happens when an acid and a base finally meet. They literally cancel each other out. Perfectly. What's left? A salt and some water. This is exactly how that antacid, which is a base, calms down all that extra acid in your stomach. It's basically chemistry coming to the rescue. But, not all acids and bases are the same, right? Some are way, way stronger than others. So to measure that strength, we need something a little more precise than just, it turned red. We need an actual scale, and that's where the pH scale comes in. So the pH scale gives us a number, usually from 0 to 14, to tell us what's what. Let's put this into perspective. Something super acidic, like lemon juice, that's got a pH of around 2.2. Pure water, on the other hand, is perfectly neutral, sitting right in the middle at 7. And then you've got a really strong base, like sodium hydroxide. You might know it as lye, and that's all the way up at the top with a pH of 14. The system itself is actually pretty simple. Anything with a pH below 7 is acidic, and the lower that number gets, the stronger the acid is. Anything above 7 is basic, or what we sometimes call alkaline. And again, the higher the number, the stronger the base. That leaves good old number 7 as that perfect, neutral sweet spot right in the middle. Okay, so why should you care about any of this? Well, frankly, our lives depend on it. I mean, our bodies have to stay in this super narrow pH range just to survive. When rain gets too acidic, entire ecosystems are at risk. And think about that sugary drink you had earlier. It creates acid in your mouth that can drop the pH below 5.5. And that is the exact point where tooth decay starts, which, by the way, is why your toothpaste is basic. It's there to neutralize that acid and save your teeth.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about how acids and bases cancel each other out to create salts, but I need you to forget about the salt shaker for a minute, because salts are so much more than just what you put on your fries. They're these incredibly versatile and honestly often surprising products of these chemical reactions.
Let's start with the one we all know, sodium chloride, or good old table salt. For chemists and manufacturers, this stuff isn't just a seasoning. Oh no, it is one of the single most important raw materials on the entire planet. It's the starting block for a massive range of other incredibly useful chemicals.
And here's just a tiny glimpse of its chemical family tree. You've got the super strong base sodium hydroxide that's used in all sorts of manufacturing. You've got bleaching powder for our cleaning supplies, you've got baking soda and washing soda. I mean, all of these totally essential chemicals, for both home and industry, start their journey as plain old common salt.
Let's zoom in on baking soda for a second, because this is awesome. When you heat it up or mix it with a little bit of acid, it starts releasing carbon dioxide gas. And as this quote explains, those little gas bubbles get trapped inside the dough. What does that do? It makes your bread or cake rise up and get all soft and spongy. It is literally delicious chemistry at work. Okay, here's another amazing product that comes from a salt, plaster of Paris. It starts out as just this white powder, but when a doctor mixes it with water, this really cool chemical reaction happens. It reforms into a hard solid called gypsum, and that's what allows them to make a perfectly rigid cast to support a broken bone while it heals. It's like a medical magic trick powered by chemistry. And making this stuff is all about precision. You have to heat gypsum to exactly 373 Kelvin, that's 100 degrees Celsius, not more, not less. At that exact temperature, it loses just the right number of water molecules to turn into that useful white powder. It really is a perfect example of some very, very careful chemical cooking. So from the fizz in your drink to the plaster on a broken arm, this hidden chemistry is absolutely everywhere. It's this constant, incredible dance of neutralizing, reacting, and creating new things. Which really just leaves one question. What other hidden chemistry is shaping your world?